Oh man, this is an altcoin you will not want to look over. Phantom is up 5.3% as Bitcoin bounces 1.8%. Bitcoin back above 27,000. But Phantom, how undervalued is this project? We're going to get into why this project continues to be hot out of the blocks. Anytime risk rotates on, anytime we see Bitcoin having even slightly positive day, you see Phantom being one of the outstanding performers time and time again. What clue does this give us? We're going to look at this and much more. Smash up likes. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to buy Phantom or any other tokens, you can do so using Bybit. Link is in the description. Check that out below. That is an affiliate link which supports the channel. Now check this out, guys. The last couple of 4-hourly candlesticks have been very powerful here on Phantom, leading to a 5.3% day. But as you can see, we're still at a critical level. This level ties in perfectly with the pattern we're seeing from Bitcoin. So I'm going to break down exactly what's going to happen here. But the first and foremost resistance we need to look out for here on Phantom is that 40 cents. That's this pivot point. Remember, we're breaking down from this symmetrical triangle. You look to this pivot point and it sits at 40. So we need to watch out. What we don't want to see here from Phantom is it to test 40 and get sent back down for a lower low. So we need to get above 40, hold above 40 cents, and then the next target is to work above the apex of the triangle. In order to nullify a symmetrical triangle like this, you want to see it work beyond the apex, which is around the 47 cents mark here for Phantom, before it can start working its way out. Now remember, with many symmetrical triangles, one of the things we talk about here on this channel is that when you get a breakdown to the downside, always look for something like this to happen. I've caught so many perfect trades looking for this, because what happens is it breaks to the downside, it liquidates all the overzealous shorts because everybody piles into shorts, and then boom, it starts working its way back to the upside. Similarly when it fakes to the upside, it can fake to the upside and then boom, you curl over. Again, if you're not familiar with this, ijaz.uk/TA, we go through this kind of stuff in detail, breaking down all the different types of TA patterns. Check that out, completely free, link is in the description. So when we then switch over to Bitcoin, you see the exact same thing playing out, right? Bitcoin has broken down indeed. We know the symmetrical price target brings you down to 25. I've been very vocal in expecting 25 to play out to the downside until we nullify this. And the nullification here on this pattern here is twofold. The first and foremost thing you want to do, just like we did on Phantom, look to the left. You look to the left and you see this important point at 27,200 on the pivot point. We managed to get above it. Great stuff. Next one is here. It's up here at 27,800. So again, can Bitcoin get above this level here, retest that 27,800 level, and get above the apex of the triangle at 28,800, and then start working its way? Okay, that will then nullify the symmetrical triangle pattern, and Phantom most likely will follow suit. But thereafter, that's not it. Bitcoin then has to work hard to break above 30 and break above 31. These are the two levels that Bitcoin has struggled at, okay? 30 and 31K. In order to keep the upwards momentum, Bitcoin has to create a higher high. It has to give above 31. Otherwise, 25 continues on the longer time frame to be one of the targets we will have to look out for. If you want a detailed breakdown of this, make sure you go watch my BTC breakdown video from yesterday, but we need to focus on Phantom here today. So if Bitcoin can get above those highs, what are those equivalent levels for Phantom? Well, the equivalent levels for Phantom is to break beyond this pivot point at 54, fine, but then at the top of the wedge to look at that 65 cents mark here as the next level for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin can break above 31, I'm expecting Phantom to have a nice big roar here up to that 65 cents mark, which would be a nice handsome risk to return trade here. I mean, if you're looking at this level here, up toward just getting back to the local peak, there is a 70% spot move here on Phantom. And again, that's something I'm looking for. Now, if we look at the Fibonacci ratios, we know longer term that this is nothing, right? You guys know I have good conviction in Phantom. It's an important part of my portfolio. Again, nothing too huge. It's a small part of the layer one section of my portfolio. I'm going to break that down shortly. But we need to look for the move up. And you can see here, the next Fibonacci level is sitting here at $1.40. The golden pocket at $2.22 to $2.32. I expect that comfortably. When Bitcoin gets moving, I expect that comfortably. All-time highs brings you into that $3.40 territory. but then more excitingly, you're looking for the Fibonacci golden extension. If you've made it this far into the video and you someday want to be able to read the markets, do technical analysis, trade as we are doing on this channel, then perhaps you may want to check out my free technical analysis from scratch course over on Skillshare. For those who aren't familiar, Skillshare is an online education platform. You sign up for a nominal amount each month and you get access to a wide variety of different courses. I personally use it to learn all sorts of things, from video editing to financial to using Excel and various other bits and pieces that you may want to learn. It's far better than YouTube on those elements, because on YouTube everything is about retention, whereas with a course you can put things in a structured curriculum, and that is exactly what I've done with my TA course. It's completely free for the first 30 days. If you click the link in the description, ijaz.uk/TA, to take advantage of the TA course. Let me know what you think about it, and let's get back into this video, which brings you to $5.50. That's when I really start to get excited. So for me, this territory is all about DCA. I continue to DCA, I wait for red days, I wait for pullbacks into the EMA ribbon, and that is when I look to DCA. Now, if I bring this chart out and I show you the EMA ribbon, what do you see here on Phantom? You have to be very, very cognizant of this. A lot of altcoins, even though Phantom is one of the most outstanding performers here, which we'll come on to shortly, you can see here that Phantom still holds below its weekly EMA ribbon. It's only Bitcoin that's well above its weekly EMA ribbon, like you can see here. Okay, so we need to understand that major altcoins, let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's holding above its EMA ribbon, but all the other altcoins like Avalanche and all the other ones you want to look at, Algorand, Cardano, they're sitting below its EMA ribbon. It's just Bitcoin and Ethereum that have started to lead this move. We know that. We've monitored Bitcoin dominance. It's primarily been a Bitcoin-led move to start this year. And that is why we need to be very, very careful. We've got to be very risk averse here, because if Bitcoin wants to pull back into 25, if it struggles at 25, expect altcoins to start getting rejected from its weekly EMA ribbon. Expect it to come into this sort of pattern to the downside. So I am expecting more pain here if Bitcoin has a meaningful pullback into 25. If Bitcoin can avoid 25, if it can do what I just shared, nullify the symmetrical triangle pattern, work its way towards 31 and get a higher high, then great stuff. We can go test and try to reclaim our EMA ribbon. So the fun here for Phantom will really start if we can get a close above 54 cents. There's still some work to do here. We still need, a decent momentum move here on altcoins, and Phantom would need to do at least another 30-40% here to reclaim its weekly EMA ribbon. Okay, so that's what we're looking out for here on the short term. But longer term, why the conviction, right? Why is it that we're seeing that Phantom is outperforming quite heavily here versus Bitcoin? Because if you take a look here, in fact, let me drop this down here to the daily chart. You're going to notice something very important. What I want to share with you here is this. If you look at over just the last couple of weeks here, Phantom has outperformed Bitcoin quite impressively, up 10% versus Bitcoin. So this is why you want to be holding some altcoins in your portfolio, because they can just run faster. Now, this is despite it being a Bitcoin-led move. That's the important thing. We know dominance is climbing, right? If I show you the Bitcoin dominance chart, this has been Bitcoin dominance here to start the year. Very powerful move. So for Phantom to be outperforming that, even marginally, but 10%, even marginally shows that there's a lot of money waiting to flow into Phantom, which is very, very interesting. Now, if we jump into CoinMarketCap and you start looking at the list, we start to realize that what was once a very heavily competitive layer 1 space has started to lose a few players, right? We saw the downside of Solana. We saw Cardano struggling and losing some momentum. You've seen Algorand struggle. You've seen even Near Protocol going a bit quiet. Avalanche has lost some of the shine from the bull market. And that is one of the reasons you start to look at this list and go, who's going to be that standout layer 1 solution? Now, in my view, it's very difficult to pick, but what I want to do is have a basket of a couple of layer 1 solutions, which I have conviction in, which I want to ride. Because the reality is, once the Bitcoin and Ethereum move has happened, we will see a rotation of those funds into the other altcoin. And which order does that happen in? It happens with layer 1 solutions first. So I will be looking to some of those powerful layer 1 solutions to make sure that I have enough allocation of those in my portfolio. And again, just take a look at the valuations. Let's just jump across to Phantom here. And let's see if we can find Phantom. There you go, sitting at 1 billion in market cap at the time of recording this video. And then you compare to something like Cardano, 12.8 billion, call it 13 billion. So it's 13 times the market cap of Phantom. And again, if you click into Cardano, you see decent circulating supply. This is one of the few projects that has decent circulating supply, like Phantom. So you're not going to get heavily dumped on these projects. Then you look at something like Solana, still sitting at 8.4 billion. 8.4 billion, you know, when you compare that to Phantom, again, an 8.5x valuation to Phantom. And you've got to ask yourself, does Phantom have some of the negative baggage of a project like Solana? I know there are a lot of Solana fans out there. I've not sold my Solana either, right? But we've got to be realistic. There are so many people sat on Solana, not people like you and I, multi-billionaire funds that are waiting for some recovery in the price of Solana to then dump. Then you look at the likes of Avalanche, again, sitting at that 5 billion mark, still a 5x on Phantom. Can you justify that? What, you know, in my mind, when you look at the tech and the stack, where are you getting that 5x disparity from? And that is why I think Phantom continues to remain relatively cheap. So I'm going to continue to look for areas to dollar cost average into. The only thing I personally need to be careful of with Phantom is making sure I'm not too over allocated, right? Again, it's a $1 billion market cap project. I can't go gung-ho into this project. I've got to make sure it's a small slither of the layer 1 section of my portfolio. So one of the struggles I have is when I'm DCAing, I just want to put a little bit more into Phantom, but I've got to force myself to go pick some of the other altcoins. Sometimes that means Cardano, sometimes that means Avalanche, sometimes that even means Algorand, but I've got to spread it out a little bit just to make sure I'm not all in on one project. But again, look at the clue. When you look down this list, Bitcoin is having a 1.7% day today. Look down the list. Ethereum doing 1.4%. So Ethereum's not running as fast as Bitcoin today, right? Let's look at some of the other coins. Binance Coin, BNB, which is, again, a big project. 1% on the day, not moving as fast as Bitcoin. Avalanche, 1.3% today, not moving as fast as Bitcoin. Polygon Matic, 0.8%, half the move Bitcoin's had. Cardano to the downside today. Algorand, okay, that's impressive, 2%. Algorand outperforming Bitcoin today. But apart from that, where on this list do you see projects that are outperforming Bitcoin on days like this? You're not. And that is the clue that there's something going on with Phantom. When there are green days, I've pointed this out before, you are seeing it move quite powerfully. Again, Near Protocol, 0.8%, Polkadot, 0.6%, all moving significantly less than Bitcoin here today. So there you have it, guys. That's my take on Phantom. Let me know, are you investing in Phantom? Is this a project you like? What are the weaknesses behind the project? What are the strengths? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to go watch this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.